This video was brought to you by Indently.io, learning Python made simple.
How's it going, everyone? In today's video, I'm going to be giving you 5 reasons why I think Python is objectively a good language. And people can say what they want about Python, but it made it to the top. And even with faster/more modern languages, Python continues to stay at the top. Why? Because Python is a masterpiece. Anyway, here are my 5 reasons why I think Python is objectively a good language. Number 1, it's very easy to learn. You can try learning any language out there, but at the end of the day, Python is probably going to be the easiest language you ever learn. It's very forgiving and lets you code functionality without having to worry about what goes on under the hood. Things like memory allocation, garbage collection, and all that other technical garbage are all handled by Python. So we can concentrate on what really matters, making a program that works. Take this simple program, for example. Here we have a name called Bob. Then we can print to the console the F string that says, "Hello, I am name," which will be replaced with Bob. And it was that fast to create this simple program. We do not need to worry about what happens to Bob after we use it. Memory allocation and garbage collection and type inference is all handled by Python. And when we run this, we will get "Hello, I am Bob." Moving on to reason number 2. It's very easy to use. The majority of people I've seen that hate on Python come from a very technical background. They don't understand why someone would code in such a slow language that gives you very little control over memory management. The idea of something handling everything automatically for you seems to put them off. The whole point of Python, in my opinion, is to be able to code what you want with ease without having to have studied how computers work for years. The fact that you can build a fully functional program that can automate boring tasks in your life with less than a month of experience is incredible. Try doing the same in Rust, C++, or literally any other language. The simplicity of Python will always dominate. And if you are new to Python, try importing this. And the next time you run the script, you're going to get the Zen of Python, a short poem based on what Python is, or how Python should be handled. Reason number 3. Python is a crazy good glue language. But what do I mean by glue language? Well, Python might be one of the slowest languages out there, but it wasn't created to perform heavy computations. Most of the time when you're using Python, you're going to be using functionality that other developers made. All we're doing in Python is gluing that functionality together with other functionality. For example, you might have a list of people, and this will contain Bob, James, and Sally. And you might want to create a script that chooses a winner from these people. To do that, we'll create a function called winner that takes a list of people, and this can be of any length, and it will return to us a winner. Now inside here, we could spend our time creating the logic for how we choose a random winner, or we could just use the functionality that was already created by some technical nerd. And if you're coding in Python, I always recommend you use the implementation that's already there. For example, from random, we can import choice. The chances of you coding something more efficient than something that's included in the language is nearly 0. So in most cases, coding anything from scratch in Python is a huge mistake and a waste of time. If you can import it from a built-in module, do that instead. It's going to be highly optimized and it's going to give you all the functionality you are looking for. So here we're going to return a choice from our people. Now at any point, we can print a winner, and all we need to do is insert our list of people. Now, every time we run this, we're going to get a winner back. The first time, it's going to be Bob. The second time, it's going to be Sally. And the third time, or actually it's going to be random each time, so if you were to copy and paste this code, you'd probably get different results. But it's picking a new winner each time. And we didn't even have to create this function, we could literally just have pasted this inside the print statement. And the next time we run this, we would get the same result. A random person selected each time we ran the program. Another example could be trying to gather some information from a website. So for this example, I'm going to import get and response from requests, a very popular library that we can download to facilitate working with HTTP requests. Now with this being imported, I'm just going to paste in a function I already created, and what it does is take any URL and grab a response from that URL. Then it tells us how long it took to grab that response and the status code of that website. And then at the bottom, we print all of that information in a very nice format. So to see how this works, we're going to print, if I can spell print, which that's so hard, what's going on? Okay, we're going to print the info with https://www.indently.io. And when we run this, what we're going to get back is that indently.io took 0.41 seconds to load with a status code of 200, which is a success. And all of this functionality came from the requests library. We didn't have to create the get function, and we didn't need to create anything that told us how long it took to make that request, and we didn't have to scrape for the status code. All of this was included inside the requests library. All we had to do in Python is glue this stuff together. And the hard part was taken care of by someone far more technical. So as you can see, most of the functionality we used was written by someone else. We didn't have to worry about how we got a random user or how we communicated with a server to get information back from a website. We just used functionality that someone else wrote and inserted our own data. This is what makes Python amazing. We don't have to do anything from scratch since practically every single piece of functionality you can think of was already written by someone else out there. Reason number 4. Python is quite consistent with its updates and rarely deprecates core functionality. This means that code you wrote 5 years ago will probably work even today. And the 5-year-old code might not be up to date with all the new features, but it will work just fine. For example, 5 years ago, if you were to create, let's say, some users or some selected users, and you wanted to say that this was an optional list of type string, you would have to do the following. From typing, import list and optional. Then here you can type in that this is going to be an optional type that contains a list of type string. And this just means that the value here, or this has to be optional, not option, can be none, or it can be a list of type string. It can be one of those two values. And this code works just fine. This might even be 7 years old or 8 years old. It still works today with no issues. Even if today we can type in something such as selected users 2 and say that this is an optional of type string using the following syntax: list of string, pipeline, none. Or I actually blundered here. This is supposed to be an L, like a lowercase l. And this is modern Python syntax. But as you can see, both of these work, even if this is the plus 5-year-old approach. With the new approach, we don't need to import anything. We can just define it the way it is. With the older approach, we do need to import from the typing module. And this is just one of the many examples. Both still work, just the latter is much more convenient and modern. The point I wanted to make is that even if we want to use Python 5 years later and we didn't touch it for whatever reason for 5 years, we'd still be able to use our old knowledge to create scripts that work. And finally, reason number 5, it's unique. Python is a unique language. The history of it being created by Guido van Rossum as a personal hobby project during the Christmas holidays in December 1989 is just amazing. I mean, what a legend. And since then, it has evolved so much. The fact that it uses significant indentation for the code can both be seen as a blessing and a curse. Personally, I love it because it makes my code look very clean, and it also makes it easier for me to remember what language I'm programming in when I'm writing in multiple languages. Because chances are, as a professional developer, you're never only going to be coding in one language. So having to use significant indentation in Python just makes things a lot easier. For example, with this for loop, for I in range 10, print I. As you can see, we have some significant indentation, which tells us that we are creating a block in Python. In other programming languages, you need to use curly brackets, or at least in a lot of them. And personally, if I had to do this in Python, I would get more confused. I would start adding semicolons for no reason because I might think I'm programming in Rust. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. In Python, you can use semicolons, but it's a waste of time. You're not required to use them, and they don't really add anything to your code. So I much prefer the previous approach, where we can just use indentation. And it's also filled with Easter eggs. I mean, try importing gravity or anti-gravity, and it's going to take you to this webpage, which contains a very cute comic about Python. And there are many more which you will discover as you progress with learning the Python language. A lot of languages have tried to replace Python or mimic it, but none have come even remotely close to doing that. Python is like the Lego of all the blocks games. You can try to copy it all you want, but you'll never replace the original. So if you're wondering about whether you should learn Python today, I'd absolutely recommend it. Even with AI, it will be a relevant language to learn 10 years down the line. There's some things that I can code in Python that take just as long as writing a prompt for AI, so I might as well just write it directly in some cases. But we'll see what the future holds for us. Anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk about in today's video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Python language in the comment section down below. What you use it for, what you love about it, what you hate about it. All comments are welcome. But otherwise, with all that being said, as always, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.